Just feel free to stand up. It's okay, because I understand about sitting all day. This morning, I got to come in and listen to Rich do the retirement part, and it was wonderful. So it just all fits right into deferred comp. So I'm here to tell you how deferred comp can make you have financial freedom when you get into that retirement years. Then you're no longer working, and you're just going to have all this income coming in. And typically, I start out with people that are a lot younger than me saying, you've got to start younger. Start $20 a month. Just start. But as you know, we're all trying to get to our next 5 or 10 years in front of us. But deferred comp is our pre-tax investment program. It's savings for retirement years. It's savings for paying your insurance premium. There's all kinds of things you can use deferred comp for. But as you know, it is a pre-tax program. So I'm just going to start out, and I hope I got the right button. Okay. Red button. That's my pointer. Oh, point it here. Okay, good. Okay, so what do you want to do in retirement? I mean, we are all so close to retirement at our age. What just some ideas? Travel. You know, that is the number one thing people say. They want to travel. And so deferred comp will definitely help you do that. So we'll just kind of move on. Let's see, that's the pointer. Okay, so what is deferred comp? It is pre-tax. And this morning, Dan spoke about the 457 program and how it's part of your estate planning. And he is so right. We do automatic payroll deductions. So if you're going to put money in deferred comp, it's going to automatically come out of your pay. Is everybody in deferred comp in here? Everybody pretty much in deferred comp? Okay, good. So as you know, it just comes out of your payroll. Now, the one thing that won't come out of your payroll is your drop money. So that's something that we'll talk about in a few minutes. But you don't pay taxes on your contributions, but you do pay them when you take a distributions. It supplements the FRS and Social Security. And so we have a complete line of investment options, including investment products that are fixed and guaranteed. So you want to look in your folder, and I guess, does everybody get a bag from this morning? Okay, so look in your folder under the quarterly performance report. Now don't let this get you real confused, because it can be if you're trying to figure it all out. But if you turn to page 10, so you will see that there's fixed account returns. Each of our companies have a fixed guaranteed account. And what that means is that interest rate is guaranteed to you, as well as the interest you've already accumulated. Okay? And it will not fall below the floor that's listed here. And there's a real good reason, why Nationwide is the highest, or the number one on the list. And if you look at the top, you'll see that they have a floor that will not fall below 3.5. And what it's paying currently is 3.5. So what that company does is it guarantees your money to pay 3.5% annually, and it's compounded daily. Yes, there's really no expenses on these funds. It's a spread. So Nationwide might be earning 4, but they're going to give you 3.5. So you can call that whatever you want to. But I call it a spread. Right. So then all the pages before that, you will see that each company has a list of mutual funds. So if you start on page 3 with Nationwide again, you will see that each company goes from a very conservative fund to pretty aggressive at the bottom, which is usually our international funds. And then you'll see the fixed account here, but you'll also see that Nationwide offers the bank FDIC products. Okay? Now, people say sometimes, they'll go, well, I'm not at Nationwide, but I might want to be at Nationwide when I move my drop money, because, your drop money, you want to kind of protect it at first. And then you may want a dollar cost average out in the mutual funds. You can do that. So you can be in more than one company. In fact, a lot of people are with all 5 companies, because they want different mutual funds from each company. So it doesn't cost you any extra money. You can be in that many companies. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. And if you want to do that after my presentation, I meant to introduce Robin Monroe. She works for us. and she has the forms, because that happened, 6 months ago I did this, and I just made sure all the forms came with me this time. Okay, and then you decide where to invest your money. And then you can consolidate, which is including the drop. So this is a little bit about pre-tax investing for those that don't quite understand it, that maybe not be in deferred comp. So you have gross income of $2,500. You do a pre-tax investment of $25. So you're really just paying tax on the taxable income of $2,475 versus the $2,500. Do you understand that? So you'll see that tax withholding is actually going to be less. So Social Security and Medicare always has to come out. And then you'll see after-tax investing, the $25, well, you'll see your actually spendable income is $375, and why is that? Why is your spendable income higher if you do pre-tax investing versus after-tax? What did you say? Who said that? Okay, Robin. She's over there in the blue. There she is. So, hey, my mom used to save money in a peanut butter jar. So it could have been anything. And one thing is plan ahead. Like right now, y'all are doing that. You're planning ahead. You're calling the FRS guidance line. You're coming here. You call us. We'll talk to you as long as you want. So experts suggest that you need about 75 to 100% of your salary when you leave employment. And that's fine until about 10 years ago, 75% of my salary would have been fine. But what started happening about 10, 15 years ago? What did they say? No more raises, what else? Recession, what else? Well, what else? Healthcare. Oh my goodness, healthcare. So I'm going to retire at 100% of my salary is my goal. So that is what I'm trying to plan ahead for. And just a little bit, I used to put a little bit in deferred comp when I first started working 25 years ago. And I wish I would have made it a point to put more in, even though we didn't get raises. But now I am sucking it away unfortunately, for medical expenses. Not that I'm sick, but I never know. But it would have been easier for me financially to have done it years ago to have that compounding of interest. So, but anyway, that's just a little bit for me. But my goal is to retire at 100%. And so what financial experts say that you should try to put away about 15% every year, which would include your employer contribution. So if you're in the pension plan, which all of us are or we wouldn't be here, that's 9%. And then we, as a person, as us, we try to put in about 6% of our salary from day one. If we didn't start on day one, then we probably need to start catching up now. And then just make a plan to save from each. And a lot of people say, is it too late? I'm going to retire or join drop, whatever, in about 2 or 3 years. Is it too late to join deferred comp? And what would you say? No, it's never too late, because you're going to have that drop money that you're going to need to have something to do with it. You can roll in a deferred comp and make 3.5%, the highest, and you have no restrictions. So it's fully liquid too. And the important thing is just start. Don't wait. And we did bring some forms here if somebody's not in deferred comp that we can just go ahead and start you. And you can start like $20 a month, even if you're trying to establish your account to get ready for your drop money. And a lot of people do that too. I said this is just a little bit about delaying. These two people, John and Linda. So Linda started as soon as she got employed, and then John waited a few years. And it's amazing the compounding of interest where John had to play catch up when it got 10 years later because he was not deferring. So if you work with somebody that maybe just started employment, you may want to talk to him about this. Say, don't delay. Just go ahead and start like $20 a month. And just the reasons to join. Other plans are becoming less reliable. Save for retirement and keep Uncle Sam out of your pockets. Did anybody get the candy bar in the bag? So did you see the bite out of it? That's Uncle Sam. So what we did is we put that there and say put your raise in deferred comp so Uncle Sam won't take a bite out of your paycheck. It I was telling Terry, I said, I did it just because I don't want IRS taking any more money. Not that I'm anti-tax, I just don't want any more. So I put my raise in deferred comp too, but that's what the candy bars were for, is just really promote. It's also just, I'm excited that we're getting a raise, so it's really more of a celebration too. Of course, did anybody get the candy bar thing with the save your raise? And if you look on the wrapper, it's the name of the bird is B.A. Saver. So we renamed our bird. It's low cost. There's no admin fees or commissions. You can start and stop, increase whenever you want to, and be hands-on or hands-off. And a lot of this is because we have funds now that you can invest in beside the fixed funds that are like a default fund, and it's based on the years that you're going to start taking a distribution or age 65. And you don't have to ever know about investments. If you want to get into the equity markets a little bit, that's a good way to get your feet wet. And then, of course, every contribution counts, even $20 a month. And that's where I started. These are going to be your sources of retirement income. You got the FRS. You have Social Security. Deferred comp, before tax savings. You have your traditional IRAs. And then any after-tax savings, which is your banks, your stocks, anything like that. When you get ready to take a distribution from deferred comp, you have to take a distribution at age 70 and a half if you're not still working for this employer. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to take but just a required minimum distribution, but it will be it will be part of your financial picture. So just keep that in mind. When you turn age 70 and a half, you will have to begin distribution, but it's a required minimum distribution as well. So you will be paying federal taxes on it. You won't be paying any kind of excise penalty if you're under 55. We just got exempt from the law. So if you're want to take a distribution at age 54, you can without paying that extra 10% penalty. These are investment providers. So back to the document with the clip on it. Our companies are all listed here, yet nationwide. And then if anybody was with Great West, you do know they changed their name to Empower. And then you have Valak, you have Voya, which used to be ING, you have T. Rowe Price, and then you have Schwab. The way you can get to Schwab is you have to join Nationwide, and then you join Schwab through Nationwide. Okay? You may have questions? Deferral limits for 2017. The maximum if you're under age 50 is $18,000. If you're over age 50, the catch-up is $24,000. And then the standard catch-up is $36,000. But you can't use the standard catch-up and the age 50 catch-up in the same time. So a lot of people join the standard catch-up just for their payout, for their accrued leave payout. So yesterday I had one of my investment people call me, or my participant call and said, okay, so I'm going to have 350 hours of accrued leave that I want to put in deferred comp, and I know it's going to be over your $36,000 limit, and currently he was putting in $1,000 a month. So he knows he's going to get this payout because he's going to join DROP come next June. So he stopped his deferrals in January for 2018 because he wants to put all of his accrued leave in deferred comp as he can. So he joined standard catch-up just probably for the 1 year because he's going to go back to the $1,000 a month after he puts all of his accrued leave in when he joins the DROP. But you can do that. So the standard catch-up is actually 3 years, and it's going to be consistent years. So let's say when you get ready to join DROP, remember you're going to have all that accrued leave come in, and that goes against your $36,000. So if you're contributing currently and you know you're going to have more than $36,000 accrued leave, then you need to stop your deferral because you can't go over your $36,000. And it can be 3 consecutive years. It doesn't have to be 3 years, though. You can just use it for 1 year. And then after that, after you finish standard catch-up, then you go back to just doing the $24,000 a year. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So a lot of people want to defer their accrued leave in to defer comp. And remember, they talked this morning about if you do that, you get a higher payout that goes into your drop because you're using your accrued leave, at the same time. So that's why a lot of people take that accrued leave money, and at the same time they're joining drop. Any questions on that? All right, catch-up contributions, we talked about that just a minute ago, 3 years prior to the normal retirement age. So if you're eligible to join drop, you're eligible to be in the standard catch-up. But you can do it up to 3 years before you actually join drop. Okay, so it's 3 years prior to the normal retirement age is the actually time you can do it. You don't have to do it then, but that's when you can start it. And then just a little bit more about drop and accrued leave. You can contribute your annual sick leave and deferred comp. So that's important to know that you can do that. You roll in the drop accumulation within the 60 days that you leave after you leave employment. Let's say you left employment and didn't join drop. Your employer will still be able to put that accrued leave into deferred comp even though you've already left employment, because it sometimes takes a while to get it all the paperwork worked out. You're deferring the federal taxes. Remember, you're still going to pay Social Security and Medicare on that amount. You'll earn financial growth. It's fully liquid. That drop money is fully liquid. And the distributions are taxed, of course, in the year that you take them out, start a distribution. So just keep it in mind that you do not have to take this money until you're age 70 and a half. Also, this money in deferred comp is fully liquid. So there is no IRA or a annuity. So it is fully liquid. But you see all the different amounts that our different companies actually will give you, like the 3%, 3.5%, or 2%. So it's on that page 10. Just keep that in mind. And a lot of people, what they do is they still have like equities here, and then they use the fixed account. So you're not like, you don't have to do all or nothing. You can do a little bit of anything. And a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll just dump their accrued leave in a fixed account, and then they'll dollar cost average out because they want to get some of like maybe a bond fund or something like that. So once it's in that fixed account, it can still move out to other funds. And once you leave employment, you can still do that. You actually, once you leave employment, if you're like, let's say you're at Voya, and you've left employment, but you really found out that Nationwide is paying the 3.5%, you can do that. You can join Nationwide as well, because it's considered a plan, not individual plans by companies. So you can actually join another company when you've left employment, and then just move your money around. Does that make sense? Now, what you can add to it are other pre-tax programs. So let's say you have a traditional IRA. You can roll that into it. Or let's say you have this small 401k somewhere, you can roll that into it, 403b. No, but you're not the first one to ask that question. I just think, oh, that's great. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm just talking about deferred comp in general. The different companies we have, that's deferred comp. There is considered one deferred comp. Yes, it's just a different investment. Absolutely. So when you're deferring now, you can do one big deferral of your drop money, or you can do a partial. A lot of people do. Some people do partials. So it's right. It's all the same thing, deferred comp. It's just a different investment vehicle, a different investment product. A normal retirement age for the FRS is 65. Yes. And that normal retirement age, yeah, down there, but which is you have to qualify for unreduced benefits from FRS. Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Take that outside, please. That was mine. I turned the ringer back on at lunch. Thank you. Sorry. I was like, oh, she has the same ringer I have. Oh, that is mine. Oh, that's hilarious. Sure. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. In this room 62, if you're eligible to join DROP, you're eligible to be in standard catch-up 3 years before you're eligible to join DROP. Do you see? Yeah, so it's 3 years prior to the year you're eligible to join DROP. And that's easier for me to explain because it took a while to, I think, figure out the normal retirement age for the IRS. They were very specific and wanted us to do that. Thanks, Rich. And we're just going to talk a little bit about this. So we talked about consolidating other plans. We can do, you can roll anything in here that's already pre-tax. So can you roll in a Roth IRA? Okay, will you get Terry a pig, please? You've got to have a pig. For those of you who don't know, Terry is the director of the budget that I work under. I know. I mean, so anyway, so you can roll any of this pre-tax into the program. Of course, there's a minimal fee structure. There are no commissions, no sales, no additional administrative fees. You do pay an extra $25 if you're in Charles Schwab. Just want to let you know that. I'm actually in Charles Schwab. So I was doing a little bit of trading in a few stocks for a while. And you would pay that $25. That's the only thing, and that really goes to Schwab because it goes to Nationwide because Nationwide actually has to do all the work to get you enrolled. And if you're really interested in doing that, I can help you to understand that. It's just more cumbersome in the beginning, but not once you do the first part. We do have multiple investments. You've got the quarterly performance report. And we do have competitive rates. What's also real important is that on our mutual fund platform, that you may want to know this, we do everything we can. We have an investment policy that we follow. We do everything we can to keep those management expenses low, which is what every mutual fund in the world has. So we do, so when we replace the fund, if it's not performing well, we'll replace it with a fund that has actually less expenses and actually usually has a higher return historically. And the other thing is each one of my companies has a free Vanguard fund, which means they have no revenue share on those Vanguard funds. So there's about 5 index funds that you can have a full portfolio from Vanguard in the program. And that is what it costs you, like 4 basis points. It's just really nice. And then, of course, it says easily transfer between investment providers. So if you do get back home or get to your office and say, I really think I want to go to this company, just call our office. We can actually fill the paperwork out for you over the phone. Or just call me personally, and I actually brought some cards so that you'll have a phone number. And there's no penalty or fees or anything associated with moving the money around. Well, good question. She asked, what do I look at if I want to switch to another company? Why would I want to go to another company? And there's lots of different reasons. A lot of people just go to every company because they just want the Vanguard index funds, which they're mutual funds, but they are equity funds. But then some people, especially at this age, when we're looking at, preserving our wealth at this point, stay in the fixed account. Well, then you would look at the company that has the highest fixed rate, which, we looked on page 10. Right. So let's say you have a fund, like you have some money at VALIC, and you can actually, and you're contributing to that. You can actually leave the money at VALIC. You can continue to contribute, maybe lower your contributions, and then put some money over at Nationwide, join Nationwide. You can contribute to Nationwide. You can contribute to VALIC. You can contribute to T-Row. You can do anything you want as a combination. So you're not like, married to any specific structure. for deferred comp. And then when you get ready to take a distribution, you can take it from all the companies or one company, or anything like that, or you can consolidate them all at the end. A lot of people do that. But when I know somebody's ready to join DROP and they're with a company beside Nationwide, and they did decide they want to put it in a fixed account, so we say, we'll go with the one that has the highest rate, go ahead and open that account, put $20 a month in, and so you at least get it established. So when you get your paperwork from FRS, you can put on there you want to put your drop money in deferred comp, and your account will all be, and then you'll put Nationwide, and we'll help you through all that. I did put some distribution option brochures on the back table, but a couple of things: you can leave the money in the program. You have to take a distribution at age 70 and a half. It will stay invested. You have the same benefits as long as you have money in the program. You cannot contribute, but you have the same benefits, so you can still move your money around or do a different investment company or whatever. And when you take a distribution, you can take it however you want to. You can do a periodic. So let's say you want to take $500 a month, or you can say I want to take a monthly distribution for the next 30 years, if it lives that long. So you can do anything you want as far as that's concerned, and your beneficiary can be whomever you want it to be too. And Dan spoke about beneficiary and be careful about your beneficiaries and that thing, and I think that was very informative information that he gave us. Beneficiaries are very important. We do require you to have one. It's very important because something happened to you, you do want to make sure your loved ones get your money. And your investment companies actually help you during that process too. And we do too. So we now actually have online enrollment and online increase buttons. I actually left some increase cards on the back table as well, so if you don't want to go online. A lot of people at this age, we did a survey and we try to figure out, do people like to do things more online? Do they like to do things by paper? And it was half and half. And what we figured out is people my age, we like to do things with paper. So when you're people like age 25 to 30, they want to do everything, on their phone at the red light. So it's very interesting. So we're trying to give it a little bit for everybody. And then this is just our information, which is in the information that you have there currently in the folder. And I think that might be my last slide. And yeah, that's my last slide. Other questions? Anybody have any more questions? Yes. That's a good question. We will stop it for you because you'll just be on a discrepancy list from the Bureau of State Payrolls, and then they'll look you up in People First and see you've left employment. And so we'll stop that for you. Oh, yes. And one thing I forgot, as you all know this, is you get a 3% raise when you join DROP. You do know that, right? Which I think is phenomenal. And so what do you think I want you to do with your 3%? Put it in deferred comp. And we can convert that to dollars if you want us to. Yes, ma'am. Yes. When do you make it, or how do you make it? Well, when you join deferred comp, you will get an investment advisor with your company, and they will help you make that decision. Or you can call our office and we'll talk to you about it too. But unlike FRS, they have something else to sell you, which is usually an annuity. So be very cautious, because as you know, annuities come with restrictions and high fees. So be very, very, very cautious. So if you see that happening and you want to call me and ask me about it, say, hey, this is what they're proposing, I would love to hear it. Right? Well, it just depends on your financial needs. You can do a dollar amount, or yeah. Oh, when you make it, well, when the company sends you the forms to start a distribution, they'll talk to you about it then, and they'll be on the forms.